We should. And it's the very fact that we think of a myth in our time as something that's not true shows just how far we've come from the understanding of our ancestors or the original meaning of myth. Because myth is a narrative that at its core, it's structured by the organizing principles of the unconscious, we could say, or the psyche, or the soul. I prefer the organ of soul. And we don't even know in the Western culture that we have an organ of soul. The Sufis knew that, they experienced that. But what is important for us to know is that there are organizing principles within the human being that organize narratives for our growth and development. And that's exactly what a myth is. And a fairy tale is also. Now, a myth will often have, in fact, almost always does have history that adheres to it, and that history may or may not be true, but it catches the attention of the culture in which that myth is told. And they many times just focus on the history and sometimes miss the actual core story. But the core of the myth is a narrative that is structured by the organizing principles of the soul for our growth and development or evolution. And so it's so important. We could say it's an archetypal structure, which means that it's symbolic, that it has one thing, but it is actually revealing something else to us. But it's so important. And when a culture really pays attention to these myths and fairy tales, then it has a guideline. I love, for instance, the Russian fairy tales because there's always, let's say, a young person who has a desire to know something or is looking for something or just must learn something. And so the young woman, let's say, or girl goes out to find it. Well, she always has to go, as we know, through a dark forest. And when she's in the forest, she will meet different people. Well, these people are part of that organizing principle that guide her on her way. And of course, the most famous one is Baba Yaga, the old shamaness of the forest, the feminine dimension of the divine. And she will very often, when the young girl has to leave, she will tell her goodbye and then throw out a ball of yarn and say, you follow that. Wherever it goes, that is your destination. And so that's a very wonderful symbol for the guidance that the psyche gives us on our journey, if we pay attention to it.